welcome back to my channel. It's me, Yeonni. Today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite books that I've read recently that have helped me to escape reality in a sense. So I wanted to share these books with you, especially at a time like this where a lot of us are staying home doing our social distancing. It's a great time to catch up on the news and all your shows. Of course, I've been doing that as well. However, it's also a great time to read because first of all that screen time can't be good for our eyes anyway, and adding some variety to a routine can be really fun. I've come to realize when it comes to my book choices recently in life, it's either these kinds of fictional books that take me to another world, or I've been reading a lot of just mental health, like nonfiction books. So it's been a good balance for me. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video where I'll explain why I feel like these 4 books would be great recommendations to help you escape from reality. I don't know in what order I should start with. It's just gonna be random because I don't want my ordering of books to influence how your experience with the books are gonna be. So I'm just gonna have them all laid out. I'm gonna mix them around and then I'm gonna choose one. First thing, so this book is called The Memory Police by Yogo Ogawa, a haunting Orwellian novel about the terrors of state surveillance, from the acclaimed author of The Housekeeper and The Professor. I haven't read those yet, but I really want to. On an unnamed island off an unnamed coast, objects are disappearing. First hats, then ribbons, birds, roses, until things become much more serious. Most of the island's inhabitants are oblivious to these changes, while those few imbued with the power to recall the lost objects live in fear of the draconian memory police, who are committed to ensuring that what has disappeared remains forgotten. When a young woman who is struggling to maintain her career as a novelist discovers that her editor is in danger from the memory police, she concocts a plan to hide him beneath her floorboards. As fear and loss close in around them, they cling to her writing as the last way of preserving the past. A surreal, provocative fable about the power of memory and the trauma of loss. The Memory Police is a stunning new work from one of the most exciting contemporary authors, writing in any language. I think I saw this book on a list from like 2019 best books to read, the Times article or something. I read like a little excerpt about this book and I saw the cover. So I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. So I put it into my Amazon cart and decided to purchase it to read. And it was one of those books where I would start reading and it started off a little slow, I'm gonna have to say, but as I kept reading with every chapter, I was like going deeper and deeper and deeper into the book, like, wait, what happened? And then I would have to kind of go back to a few lines and read that line again just to make sure I read it correctly. It catches you off guard. This book catches you off guard. And in the beginning, while things were kind of pleasant and slow, the deeper and deeper as you go into the pages, it becomes such an enchanting book. It's enchanting and haunting. I finished it in one night. I could not put it down. And I'm really interested to hear what a lot of people think about the ending. I remember going into forums to try to see what other people's opinions of the ending was, and it was just so fascinating. This book definitely is something that I will never forget. I think this book is definitely worth a read just because of the way that it's so beautifully written and the words are so haunting and the concept is so interesting. I'm gonna mix it up. Okay, alright. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book I also finished in a day. All of these books? No, not all. This and The Memory Police I finished in a day, and the other 2 I finished in like 1 to 3 days. So I actually got this book after watching one of Jen Im's book recommendations, and the way she explained it just sounded so interesting. We're entering the world of like old glam Hollywood, and I've really never been interested in that world, but the way she explained it, and after I visited LA last year and actually went to Hollywood, I was like, I think that could be really an interesting book to read, so I got it. It's very, very quick to read, but it was really, really fun. So, reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant to write her story, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career, Monique listens in fascination. From making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s to leaving show business in the 80s, and of course, the 7 husbands along the way, Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. But as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. Written with Raid's signature talent for creating complex, likable characters, this is a mesmerizing journey through the splendor of old Hollywood into the sobering realities of the present day as two women struggle with what it means and what it costs to face the truth. Ooh. That's kind of how I felt reading this book. It was kind of like, ooh, like tabloidsy and like Hollywood, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because I think I didn't come into it with much expectations. I was like, Hollywood, glamour, okay, whatever. And the author definitely has a gift of storytelling, which kind of keeps the reader hooked. It's one of those books where in the beginning, I mean, just to compare, if Memory Police was like you start off with a premise and the reader is kind of informed of what it's like, and then you go into it and you see into the consequences of what that world can be like. But Evelyn Hugo was like, you don't really know much going into it. There's like multiple perspectives going on at the same time. There's like Evelyn's perspective as she's telling her story to Monique, then there's Monique's story, and then the reader gets an insider view at kind of reality of what did happen in the past, because you get to see in Evelyn's mind and also in Monique's mind, and then you just get like all the background information. So I definitely really enjoyed this book, and I really liked how while it was kind of like a trip to old Hollywood, it also tied into a lot of like modern topics and themes that I think even now we as a society struggle with. And the last two, it's kind of obvious because one of them is hardcover, so I know which one I'm gonna grab. But next one is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I don't remember how I ended up choosing this book. I think I was at just a random bookstore somewhere in like the Sunset area in San Francisco. I really like to just walk into bookstores and find a book when I visit like new parts of town. And oh my god, look, my cat's bit off the corner there. Anyway, it's apparently in Reese Witherspoon's book club and it's gonna be turned into a movie. And yeah, so let me read to you what this one is about. No one's ever told Eleanor that life should be better than fine. Meet Eleanor Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her carefully timetabled life, where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with Mummy. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling IT guy from her office, whose big heart will ultimately help Eleanor find a way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. Smart, warm, and uplifting, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine is the story of an out-of-the-ordinary heroine whose deadpan weirdness and wit make for an irresistible journey as she realizes the only way to survive is to open your heart. That's literally what it is. It's smart, warm, and uplifting, and this character, Eleanor, is a protagonist that I feel like I've never really, I mean, never is a strong word. She's a very uncommon protagonist where, and it's just kind of like the anti-hero in a way, where she is really weird, very witty and smart, but just her social cues are so awkward at times where you're reading and you're like, no, like why would you say that, Eleanor? Like, oh my god, I can't believe she would do that in public or something like that. But because as the reader you get like an insider view into the character and how she logically thinks certain actions should be a certain way, there are times where I would even question, like, why do we as a society have to act this way when it makes more sense to act like Eleanor? You know what I mean? So I just really love the protagonist. After reading this, I'm really excited to see the movie. I'm like very protective of the character now, so I really hope that they do a great job in their interpretation. And if they do, it's gonna be a killer movie. It's gonna be such a great movie. This one took me a little longer to read. I think it's because, I don't know, I was traveling a lot like later on last year. So I was like taking this to the airport, I was reading this on the plane, and then like whenever I had free time to like think and mentally I really needed to escape reality, I would just open this book and just dive into it, and it really made me feel a lot better being able to go into the world of Eleanor rather than being in my world at times. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me feel really contemplative about my life, and it's a great book. I need to make this video short, that way I don't spoil it for other people, but it is a wonderful book. Oh, my foot is falling asleep. Last but not least is The 10,000 Doors of January. A friend of mine actually bought this for me. He came over once to our home and saw our bookcase and was like, oh, I have a book that I feel like would look really beautiful displayed on your bookcase. So he got this for me and I'm really, really thankful. So because that was how I was first introduced to the book, I didn't really think much about the context of the book. I was like, 10,000 Doors of January. I guess the book cover looks nice. I think I kind of didn't give it the chance that it deserved until I opened the book and I started reading the book. Oh my gosh. Top 5 best fictional book experiences of my life. Why is this not a movie? If this was a movie and it was done by directors who make movies like Harry Potter, not only like the mythical fantasy elements of it and kind of the creative aspects of the book, but the story writing. When people say like authors like knit a story together and like spin a story together, that's exactly what I think of when I think of this book. Anyway, let me read you the inside. When one enters a door, one must be brave enough to see the other side. In a sprawling mansion filled with peculiar treasures, January Scalar is a curiosity herself. As the ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke, she feels little different from the artifacts that decorate the halls, carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. Then she finds a strange book, a book that carries the scent of other worlds and tells a tale of secret doors, of love, adventure, and danger. Each page turn reveals impossible truths about the world, and January discovers a story increasingly entwined with her own. Step into the world of January Scalar in Alex E. Harrow's spellbinding debut. Spellbinding debut. Yeah, it was a book that I finished in like 2 days, only because I had to go to work and I was busy at work or something, so I couldn't, just dive into it. But yeah, firstly, the book itself is so beautiful. It's in hardcover. I love when friends give me books. It just means so much. And also, I love, do you see how the papers are cut like this? It's like an old book in itself, like a treasure, a gift. And I like a lot of fictional books. I have read a lot, but it's one of the most unique fictional books I have ever read. The storyline is so unique, and the concept of doors. I think I was in kind of a darker place in my life when my friend gifted me this, so I was really grateful to him because he told me this book will really help me to escape reality and step into the door of like another world, the world of January. And it helped me to feel a lot less alone, a lot less anxious at a time where I was feeling really alone and anxious. While I finished it in 2 days, I really cherished every page, every chapter. And I remember like reading something and being like, wait, this came up in the front, what was that again? And I'd go back and I'd read it. It's kind of like when you enjoy a beautiful meal and you want to like really appreciate every texture, every flavor of the meal and like the cuisine. It was the same experience for me where I really wanted to really hold on to every single word, every single page, and it really helped me a lot with my anxiety and my depression at the time. So I didn't mean this to be the last book, but it happened that way, and this book is a book that means so much to me personally, and it speaks so loudly to the power of books and how thankful I am to have books. That has been my top 4 favorite, precious, amazing books that I want to recommend to you guys who may want a bit of an escape from reality. And they're all very different, I think. The Memory Police is more of like an Orwellian, darker piece that is kind of like post-apocalyptic, kind of like dystopian feeling, but I thought that was fun. Evelyn Hugo is kind of like old Hollywood glamour, gossip magazine, but also really fun. Eleanor Oliphant, she is a riot. I really love Eleanor as a character. And obviously, last but not least, the 10,000 Doors of January. Cannot put into words. It is a spellbinding book that helped me so much at a dark time, and the writing is beautiful. The book itself is beautiful. I'll be linking the Amazon links to all of these books down below. They should all be on Amazon, I think, and Amazon has really good deals on books, so I've been able to buy more books than I really should. But I mean, my mom's told me this ever since I was younger. Books are never a waste of money. It's an investment in a way, and I don't mind ever spending money on books because it just brings me so much joy and helps me with my mental health when I'm dealing with so much anxiety and stuff. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really hope you check out at least one of these books, and if you do, please let me know. I really want to start a book club. I think I want to join a book club or start a book club. Do people still do that? I'm not sure, but I would love to talk to you guys about it and see what you guys think. I make mental health, social work advice videos on my channel. Sometimes I kind of throw out these kinds of more random ones. If you would like to see what other kinds of videos I do make, please check out my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. That would be really awesome if you could join me on this YouTube journey that I do on the weekends when I'm not working. Yeah, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. With everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm sending everyone strength, love, positivity. It's okay to not be okay. I think that's also an important message to put out there, but also realize we're gonna come out of this stronger. We really are. So sending you all of those sentiments, and I'll see you in the next one.